Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. It's good to see you, and I thank you for the time that you gave me in a very hurried inaugural weekend.
Yes.
It was amazing that we were able to fit that in. And I want to echo some of my Senate colleagues who just said you are very informed and seem to be extraordinarily committed to this task and this goal, and I'm grateful for that. I want to jump in on some of the things we talked about right away. I'm so grateful for Senator Kaine bringing up Haiti and the importance for us to come up with some bipartisan foreign policy agenda or strategy to deal with that crisis there. I want to bring attention to the conflict in Sudan, which has created the largest and fastest growing humanitarian crisis in the world. We see right now tens of millions of people in need of assistance. The humanitarian crisis from hunger and malnutrition all the way to political destabilization in neighboring nations like Egypt, which are seeing this extraordinary overflow of urgencies as a result of the immigration and displaced people that are landing in that country. I'm deeply concerned about recent reporting from the New York Times stating that the SAF has used chemical weapons on at least 2 occasions. And I am really believing that we are lacking the kind of pressure on a lot of our allies and other nations that are involved in this conflict. And so this is a real time for, and as I talked about now, Secretary of State Rubio, about really aligning a diplomatic strategy in trying to bring about an end to this conflict, which will not be solved ultimately through the use of military conflict and needs a diplomatic solution. And so for now, in the short term, the need to protect civilians is paramount. And this is an issue where obviously, should you be confirmed, you can lead. And I think, in my opinion, one of the things that it's been lacking from is just a general prioritization. So first and foremost, will you commit to prioritizing Sudan and an end to this horrific humanitarian crisis and politically destabilizing reality we see now?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's one of the great responsibilities of this role is prioritization of what we speak out against on the world stage at the United Nations. And I'm grateful for this committee's bipartisan work on the Sudan Accountability Act. The special envoy position is very important, and raising the awareness within the public of how significant this humanitarian crisis is.
And the challenge we have is there's implicated nations in supplying arms to this conflict. I'm wondering if you have some thoughts about how you could use your position to try to bring about an end of the cooperative parties that are fueling the conflict.
Absolutely. I mean, we will have to have strong conversations led by the President and Secretary Rubio with the UAE, the Egyptians, the Saudis, and that will be critical. I'm not going to get ahead of the Secretary of State and the President, but certainly will be supporting them at the U.S.-UN mission to do so.
Okay, and then just the ideas of refugee assistance in the area and some of the specific, as we talked about, some of the specific UN agencies that really are the lead in providing that. And it's concerning to me, and I know I heard Senator Coons point this out, this idea of pausing some of this aid at this time for 3 months could have sort of a cataclysmic impact, not just on the humanitarian crisis, but also on the stability of some of our allies in that region. Specifically from the Chad-Sudan border to Egypt as well. Some of the life-saving work done by UNHCR, the World Food Program, and more. And I'm just wondering if you could share with the committee some of your thoughts about how to navigate the urgent importance of these UN agencies and their ongoing work.
I think, again, World Food Program is a very successful program. It's results-focused. Its significant voluntary funding piece is a testament to that and the significant bipartisan support, and it is beneficial to America from a national security perspective, but also from an agricultural perspective, from an agribusiness manufacturing perspective as well, an American workforce perspective. So I think we need to look at all of our programs, do an assessment of, do they answer the questions of, does it make America stronger, safer, more prosperous? That should be our guiding light, and America First, peace through strength. And I am very committed to ensuring that all the US-UN programs that we do that assessment, and where America leads, I think we're going to come out in top in terms of the efficacy.
And I'll just say in conclusion, because my time is up, the challenge we often have is we're reactive to crises that if investments were made early on in the stability of nations, we could have done much better. And in many ways, with this global power contest between us and the Chinese, we allow them to get advantages from our lack of even engagement or focus. The continent of Africa is the future in terms of humanity. 1 out of every 4 people on the planet Earth will be from the African continent by 2050. It seems that the Russians and the Chinese understand that because they're playing large and significant, and I would say a profoundly disrupting force there. And so having a person in the position in which you're nominated for who is focused on the continent, who is engaged and making sure that we as the United States protect our interests, things that make us safe, strong, and prosperous, and understand that as we look to the future, we have to be in now in helping to avert not only the crises that often begin to destabilize regions and cause fertile ground for terrorism and government overthrows, but also start to develop the bonds of trust and partnership that are necessary for long-term prosperity for us and many of the extraordinary nations who want to ally with us and not the Chinese. Mr. Chairman, thank you.